Hi, my name is Alicia, but most people call me Leesh. Today we'll be diving into my experience with Bloodborne and explaining how and why I'm glad I gave this game a second chance. I hope you enjoy this video essay. In the year of 2015, From Software launched a game like no other. A game that encapsulated gothic horror, fear of the unknown, and a theme of a horrific plague sweeping across a land. Upon that intro, it may seem like your ordinary game inspired by the Victorian era, but it is much, much more than the likes of that. If you think little of Bloodborne, then in the words of Master Willem, our eyes are yet to open. The game title leaves much to the imagination for those unsure of what to expect, and with no insight on your person, or a contract to be a hunter in Yharnam, it's easy to be out of the know. For now, all the information you need to be aware of is the following statement. We are born by the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. Notoriously, From Software games have had this reputation for being these ridiculously hard games to beat, and creating the meme catchphrase of, get good. But these games are so much more than just a get good attitude. They're an experience. Yes, they're difficult, but that is part of said experience. Learning patterns, leveling up, a sense of trial and error, etc, etc. During my initial playthrough back in March of 2022, I was completely new to this style of game, and as a beginner I made some very silly decisions that affected my first playthrough drastically. I focused on boosting health and had little strength and skill to work with. I struggled with handling my stamina meter, and that would often get me killed too. Like I say, as a beginner to these games, I didn't know how to maintain stamina. I've grown up as a Legend of Zelda nerd, so I've never had to really worry about how many swings of my sword I can do before I'm tired, which made Bloodborne a big learning curve. In all honesty, I nearly rage quit when I faced Cleric Beast, as it was so daunting as a newbie. The narrow arena, the camera, the power of the beast versus my tiny health bar, my lack of awareness, do I go on? But I carried on like the stubborn woman I am. In the end, after an untrackable and embarrassing amount of deaths, plus a lot of rage, I did beat the game and its Old Hunters DLC, minus defeating Lawrence and the Orphan of Kos. To be honest, I was left kind of annoyed and disappointed with myself. Upon reflection, going in blind on this occasion was a mistake, and perhaps I should have sought out help in regards to which stats were best to prioritise. But alas, I am stubborn, and on first playthroughs I rarely want nor seek help of any kind, as I just want to experience it completely for myself. The stress first time round left me with a tunnel vision sort of attitude in regards to the game. I mean this in the sense of, I was just going from boss to boss, hoping to reach the end of the story, just to say that I've done it. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this, but in doing so I missed out on so much more that the game had to offer. This game isn't about being hard, it's about the lore, the history, the people, the places, and obviously, the blood. In all honesty, first time round, if you asked me the concept of the story, I probably would have just glanced at you and been like, there was a story? Now, I'm aware FromSoft like to make their lore a bit more discreet and something to discover for yourself, but this was no excuse for me to miss these plot points first time around. I simply just wasn't paying enough attention, and that is 100% my fault. I left the credits screen and honestly just thought, maybe these games aren't suited to someone like myself, but then that all changed once I decided to try out a little game you might know called Elden Ring. A few months had passed since its launch, and after watching some friends play it, I was like, you know what? Maybe this game is the one that I understand. I booted up Elden Ring in August of 2022 and set out to traverse the lands between. To my surprise, my experience with Bloodborne helped me with the early game. I was dodging smoothly, countering nicely, and maintaining enough stamina to not get caught out by my foes. I even defeated Margit on my 5th attempt, which, to me, was a big milestone for sure. The open world of Elden Ring really allowed players like myself to take our time and explore, whilst also learning and slowly leveling up as we go. Now, don't get me wrong, it was no walk in the park at all, and I did make good use of the summons on offer, especially the Mimic tier, but this time around I actually enjoyed myself. From beginning to end, and upon reflection I was like, Bloodborne really did help me prepare for this. I'm not as bad as I thought I was. So I continued onward, learning the lore, new ways to play, and testing out new weapons too. I loved Elden Ring, and it turned into an obsession.
I was a woman possessed. I spent about 80% of my time talking about Regina, and the other 20% of the time I was praying for someone else to bring her up so I could talk about her more.
And this obsession led me to a place I never thought I would go. I was determined to unlock the Platinum Trophy for this game. After a glorious few months in this magnificent world, the day finally came. I landed the final blow to the Elden Beast and became witness to the magical Rani ending, and was finally given my rightful title as Elden Lord. I remember just putting my controller down and being filled with this immense sense of pride and joy, but at the same time this overwhelming sadness that it was all over. Very few games leave you with this wish to have your memory wiped, so that you can experience it for the first time all over again, but Elden Ring truly is one of those games for me. I had a lot of games in my backlog to work through, but after this huge achievement I knew I owed Bloodborne a second chance, sometime in the future. Just had to wait for the time to be right. My Elden Ring experience ended in October of 2022, and after some time away from the Soulsborne worlds, I returned to Yharnam on the 10th of January 2024. I went with what I knew from before, military veteran and saw cleaver combo. But this time, I went in with zero fear. I was learning how to parry this time round, utilising one of the most unique and badass forms of counterattack in any game I've ever played. It does take some time to understand how it works and how each enemy has their own unique parry window, but once you figure it out, oh my goodness, it's the most satisfying thing to do. Plus, it's kind of badass to carry a gun on your person in this world. Bundling in my Elden Ring sense of awareness, I cruised through the base game with very little hiccups in my way. Bloodborne felt fun, fluid, and magical this time around. It was the way everyone had told me it should be. I got it now. I understood the ways of a good hunter. I was just like the people of Yharnam, a woman driven sick by the blood. I had this constant desire to play the game and push myself each time I picked it up. But being better at the gameplay opened doors to me that my first playthrough just didn't allow. I could take in the environments around me and appreciate how beautiful this game is. From central Yharnam's winding streets, to the danger of Yahagul, to finally washing up at the fishing hamlet, everything was just a visual delight. The game kept giving me more. Visuals, sound design, lore, it was just all here. And as I slowly pieced together the lore of this universe, I fell deeper and deeper in love with what this game had to offer from within my TV screen. Bosses that felt unbearable prior were now within an inch of my grasp, and the typical gamer catchphrase of, "just one more try," was a saying I'd utter frequently as I carried on through the game, never tiring of giving things another chance. The likes of Orphan and Lawrence had been defeated for the first time, and I couldn't believe it. I just sat back in awe, just like I had done with Elden Ring. I was proud of myself, and overwhelmed with happy emotions. So then it was time to repeat the same cycle. It was time to go for that Bloodborne Plat trophy. Over the course of the game, I had been collecting weapons and tools for trophies, and gradually working my way through the underground Chalice dungeons. After countless enemy encounters and floors traversed, we ended up at our final destination, the Yharnam Blood Queen. Her fight was actually really fun, but not the challenge I was expecting. Perhaps I was over-leveled, or I overhyped the idea of fighting her in my head, but alas, within a few attempts, she was done. We claimed our trophy, and continued onward. Then came the classic eat the 3 umbilical cords trope, which is a sentence I never thought I'd really be saying, but here we are. By doing so, we faced Gurman, followed by the Moon Presence. The Plat trophy popped not long after, and we claimed the title of an official good hunter. We morphed into our destiny of becoming a future great one, just like the tales the people of Yharnam would tell. Now, for the reason of this video. Bloodborne, unlike my ex, deserved a second chance due to its themes, gameplay, lore, uniqueness, and music. For a first timer, this kind of game was daunting, and difficult to understand, but once you take that time to understand how to play, it's an unforgettable treasure of a game. The story is a great one that does take some effort to unlock the bigger picture of, but it's so worth the time. Bloodborne does force you to be patient and understand that trial and error is a must, but it will make you better as a gamer in more ways than one. You'll be rewarded for your patience and time investment as opposed to penalised for it. Lesson to myself, and maybe to others watching this, is just because something doesn't click the first time, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing or that you're a bad person for not understanding it straight away. Sometimes a game seems worth a second chance, and you should consider giving it another go. Allow yourself to take in what it has to offer, what is in store for you, and what you can achieve by attempting round 2. Because of both Bloodborne and Elden Ring, I feel that my stat management, dodging, parrying, and attacking has improved overall as a gamer, and these are skills that I can transfer to future games that I play. I no longer fear From Software games, nor the old blood. Instead, I relish in it. So much so that eventually I might dive into the Dark Souls trilogy to see what that has to offer for me. And perhaps the likes of Sekiro too. I realised that I allowed my anger to overlook the true beauty of this game, and I took it for granted on first try. But I gave it that much deserved second chance, and I'm never going to look back. To Bloodborne and all my hunter friends, I apologise for not giving this the fair chance it deserved. I have learned from my mistakes, and I will carry this to future games that perhaps don't click with me straight away. My eyes have opened and I have become an infant great one. Nothing can stop me now. If you made it to the end of this video, I thank you for taking the time to watch and listen to this essay. Please let me know your thoughts on this topic and tell me what your favourite boss was in Bloodborne. For me personally, in the base game I loved Martyr Ligarius, and for the Old Hunters DLC, Lady Maria was my favourite. Any likes are appreciated, and please feel free to subscribe to see other content from me in the future. Thanks for your time, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.